I often get the question, why not go for a prefabricated house when you're considering redeveloping your property? And my name is Ian, and welcome to my channel on home construction for people who've never done this before, complete newbies like I was a couple years ago. Your likes and follows are much appreciated. And what we're looking at here is actually a prefabricated house that I toured about 2 years ago when I was still considering how we should approach this particular home construction project. And there are a couple reasons for going the prefabricated route. And one reason is that it kind of takes away a lot of the concerns about designs, and the designs look great. This is a showroom model, of course, so it looks particularly good, and they did a pretty nice job of dressing it up. You can see the rug looks nice. The kitchen looks fantastic. It's big and roomy. It looks like a real house. And actually, maybe let's talk a little bit about what a prefabricated house is, like the different types it includes, so you can understand what we're talking about here. This is the exterior of one of the showroom houses. I believe this is a modular home. And there's basically two classes. There's modular and manufactured. And there's differences between both of them. Modular, as the name suggests, is you get pieces of the house, like maybe the roof is one part, and then this room is another part that comes over on a truck. It's put on the foundation with a crane, and this is another part. And maybe there's options you can take. So, for instance, if you want to get a second floor, you can take the base model and then have an option to have other things put on top there. That's a modular home. Manufactured homes are usually what we think of as what used to be called trailer homes or double wides. And basically the idea is the whole thing is manufactured in a factory somewhere, then brought on a truck, and then laid down in one or two big pieces on top of the foundation. There's also different zoning rules for each one. So modular home usually has to follow state rules for construction and zoning requirements. So they're usually actually better, whereas the manufactured are held to the federal standards, which are lower. I think it relates to FEMA standards for like what's the minimum required for a manufactured home, and then you can still use those in the States. So there's a price difference, and there's kind of modular homes are a bit more complicated to set up, but that's the basic things that were going on there. And we looked at different models. This is another modular home. And you can see that for this particular one, the downstairs was finished, but the upstairs would be kind of raw like this. So it would be up to you, for instance, to have the insulation put in and to put, some sort of wall and ceiling on top. Do you want some sort of drop ceiling? Do you want, plasterboard, or the finishing parts are kind of up to you. But you can see this is basically what a stick-built home would look like on the inside. But these pieces are manufactured in a factory, then they're brought on site. So we did consider this, and we looked at the showrooms. We were really impressed with what we saw. But there was a couple of things that really held us back from choosing this particular option. And actually, I think you can see it on this particular picture. As you may know from looking at our other videos, we have this view of the river. And none of the modular or manufactured options really did anything special with the windows. Like, this is a standard window for the modular home. The manufactured homes were pretty much very similar. You couldn't have anything really big looking out. You couldn't have a lot of glass looking out over the river, and we just thought that this was a big drawback for this particular type of home, even though it did offer some advantages in terms of like it's much easier to set up than a stick-built home, and you don't have to deal with architect's drawings or designs from a designer. It's just like you choose what you want in the showroom, and then the order will be set up. You have to get the foundation made, but then the cranes will come and just drop it right on the property. So that's a pretty simple way to do it. The other thing is that we discovered that the prices for a lot of these houses weren't necessarily, they were definitely less expensive than a stick-built house, at least the type that we ended up building, but they weren't completely, completely just a great deal. We're talking about for the low end manufactured home, like a smaller version of the trailer style. And basically what they do, you can actually see the line here. There's two trailers. They bring them on a truck, and then they kind of there's a seam that they cover up when they actually put things together, and they put the flooring down. So the least expensive model, I think, was about $250,000, maybe a little bit less than that, not including the foundation, not including the demolition. Okay, and I don't think including any of the finer parts of the details as well. So I don't think that was really a great deal. And then this bigger one, even though it was much more roomy, we're still looking at something like $400,000+ for it, and the second floor isn't even done. So these costs started to really add up. And then the other thing that kind of, I don't want to say rubbed us the wrong way, but something that we weren't really happy about when we were seeing these houses, the people in the showrooms, I think they're really incentivized to try to get you to close the deal as quickly as possible with the easiest possible job to do. What they want is they want something that's easy to set up. So they say, yeah, you just set up the foundation and we'll bring the manufactured house and just drop it on and seal it up and you're good to go. And they made it seem like it would take a matter of months rather than a matter of years, which is really attractive. But when you say something like, well, actually we prefer a modular option with more windows, they'd start to kind of back off on that a little bit. They'd say something like, oh, yeah, where you are on the river, bringing a crane down there is a big deal. And they really tried to push us into this, even though we indicated that we were not into the idea of a manufactured house. And, I'm not really sure even how long a property like this will last. I mean, they're very basic and they're quick to set up, but I don't think they're really made for the long haul because they're based on those lower federal codes. The modular homes were a bit better. They're much more strongly built and would last for well beyond our lifetimes. But they weren't that much cheaper than a stick-built home. And in the end, we decided not to go for a manufactured or a modular home. So those were some of the considerations that we had as we were looking at the different models. And you can see like these two showroom models, there's not even any windows on the side. In this door, of course, you'd have a porch going on there. But we felt that for where we were, we really wanted something that would take advantage of the great view that we had over the river and really let in a lot of light. And while the inside of these manufactured and modular homes, they looked really, really good. They did a great job of, setting them up to look nice and thinking, geez, I'd like to be in a place like this. We felt that the interior was one thing, but it's the exterior, especially the view, that really needed a lot of special consideration in our particular case. My name is Ian. Thanks for watching this video on home construction for people who've never done it before, newbies. Likes or follows are appreciated, and I'll see you next time.